You just emotionally binged. Now what do you do? Hi, I'm Taylor Deacon, a registered dietitian who is here to help you simplify nutrition and feel your best without restriction. And today I want to talk to you about an important topic that most of us experience at some point or another, and maybe even sometimes more than others in our life, and that is emotional eating. It's something that we can feel pretty ashamed for. And especially in those moments when it just happened, you binge and you're thinking, what do I do next? That's what I want to talk to you about today and take you through some steps that can help you regulate your emotions and work through those emotional eating tendencies that may happen more frequently than you'd like to admit. Before we get started, I want to take a moment for us to pause and take a deep breath. So go ahead and just close your eyes and inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Now, if you need to do any more, go right ahead. But this is a great practice that you can start with when you've just emotionally ate and binged. And the first thing that I want you to know is that you are not a failure and there is nothing wrong with you because you just emotionally ate or binged. Emotional eating is something most, if not all of us experience, and it doesn't mean you're broken, out of control, or bad. Let me walk you through some steps you can take to help manage your emotions and work through emotional eating. Step number one is pause and breathe. When you realize that you've emotionally eaten or binged, the most helpful thing you can do first is to pause, not judge, not spiral, but to breathe and reflect. Remind yourself that you are a human, emotions are normal, and that you're allowed to feel them. And if you're turning to food to cope with those emotions, there's likely a reason that that's happening. And we don't need to control the emotions that we're having, but we can learn to notice and manage them. And that really is the real skill. And sometimes we don't know why we're eating out of emotion. Maybe you're happy, sad, bored, overwhelmed, numb. It's okay not to have the answer right away, and that awareness will build over time. Step number two is just returning back to your normal routine when you're ready. Not when you feel guilty, not when you feel like it's fixing something, but just returning back to your normal, regular routine, your next meal or snack without making any major modifications to it. Because skipping meals is going to just keep you stuck in that binge restrict cycle. And when we can just get back to our normal, regular eating pattern, this is actually a form of self-care. And it's how we really can ground and reconnect with our body. It's also how we keep our body nourished and lets us go into step number three, which is actually building an emotional toolkit. Emotional eating is happening for a reason, and we're turning to food to cope. Is it fixing the problem? Not necessarily, and not very likely, but it's also sometimes just what we need. Sometimes we just need comfort, and there's nothing wrong with allowing food to be that form of comfort. However, I can definitely understand not wanting food to be your only form of comfort. And I wouldn't encourage that either, because again, it's not necessarily getting to the root of the problem. And sometimes we do need to address that. So, I want to talk about some different tools that you could turn to instead that are non-food related when you're experiencing certain emotions. And I think it's very important when you're figuring out your non-food coping techniques to ask yourself, what else is helping me feel supported when I'm feeling X, Y, and Z emotion? So, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, stressed, bored, sad, happy, what helps you in those times. And again, it might take a moment to figure out which exact coping techniques help certain emotions, but here are some pretty common coping techniques that you can turn to instead. For example, calling a friend or a family member and talking to someone and venting and making sure that they're in a good headspace to be able to take that on as well. But just talking to someone in general, watching a comfort show, listening to music, or a podcast, reading, going for a walk, practicing some deep breathing or meditation techniques, journaling, or any other hobbies that you might have. Knitting, art, playing a certain game. I would really encourage you to write a list down of your go-to hobbies or coping techniques that you either do now and enjoy or that you want to try and start to experiment. And when you have it, or if you already have your go-to coping techniques, go ahead and let us know in the comments. What are those non-food coping techniques? I'd love to hear them, and I'm sure that you would inspire some other people by sharing which ones work for you. And remember, the goal is not to replace food as a coping technique, but to build a better routine in with non-food tools so that you have other more accessible and comforting techniques that you can turn to besides food. Step number 4 is to redefine what self-care is for you. Let's be honest, self-care isn't just doing the occasional bubble bath and face mask. Those can be nice and they can be a form of self-care, but just like food, they don't necessarily get to the root of the problem. And I'm not saying that you need to get to the root of the problem right away or all the time, but having things that actually make a difference in your day-to-day routine is where it really makes a difference. And real self-care is showing up for yourself consistently. So having those small daily practices that are going to make your life easier and a bit smoother. Whether that's meal prepping and having things ready to go so that you're not rushing or trying to make something when you're extremely hungry, checking in with how you're feeling, and that could be doing journaling, deep breathing, or meditation on a more day-to-day basis. Stepping outside for fresh air when you need to take a break away from your computer or other work. These are all small little routines or habits that you can build into your week or day-to-day basis that actually make a difference because they're a part of your normal routine. And these are really just habits that you build over time. There's no pressure to get it perfect right away. Just start noticing what helps you the most and feel like yourself again when you're struggling or dealing with X, Y, and Z emotion. Here's what I hope that you take with you from this video. Number one, you are not bad or broken for emotionally eating. You are just learning, and that is enough. And awareness really is the first step to anything. Over time, you're going to start noticing certain patterns, maybe certain stress triggers, and things like boredom that turn you to eating. And with that awareness, you can start experimenting with those other ways to care for yourself and manage those emotions. Remember that this is a process that deserves a lot of grace, curiosity, and compassion. And the next time that you catch yourself with that emotional eating or binging tendency, or it just happened and you're asking yourself, now what? Remember to pause and breathe, to be kind to yourself, and to take that next gentle step forward. And if you resonated or found any part of this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more. And if you want even more support, please check out the links in our description and join us over in the Anti-Diet Sisterhood Facebook group.